For more than 30 years, SeaLink has been the only ferry operator that has continued to provide an essential transport service connecting the Kangaroo Island community with the mainland and thousands of visitors to the island each year to explore this natural wonderland.
I'd say that Kangaroo Island wouldn't be what it is today if it wasn't for SeaLink's involvement over the last couple of decades. At the end of the day, the money that they spend on marketing Kangaroo Island may well benefit SeaLink as a transport operator, but it actually benefits the whole of the island in terms of what we call the visitor economy.
We've got a stretch of water between us and the mainland, and that's our highway, that's our road. And SeaLink provide a fantastic service to the community for coming and going and freight.
Since our humble beginnings operating just one ferry, we've grown to become Australia's largest multimodal transport company, with international operations in London and Singapore. Employing more than 9,000 people, we operate 120 ferries, 3,800 buses, and carry over 206 million customers a year, transporting people where they want and need to go. SeaLink was born in 1989 when Malaysian-owned MBF purchased the KI family-owned business Philandera Ferries. In 1996, SeaLink was returned to South Australian ownership when local investors purchased the company. 2 years later, SeaLink launched the new custom-built Sea Lion 2000 ferry, followed by the Spirit of KI ferry in 2003, providing a much more reliable ferry service for residents, freight and visitors. And SeaLink has continued to invest heavily in Kangaroo Island and South Australian tourism ever since. Building new ferry terminals at Cape Jervis and Penneshaw, operating sightseeing tours and accommodation services on Kangaroo Island, as well as tours to the Adelaide Hills, McLaren Vale, the Barossa and Victor Harbour, and the Murray Princess on the Murray River, offering customers more ways to explore Kangaroo Island and South Australia. Today, we connect customers to 14 islands around Australia and cruises on our amazing harbours and rivers. And through our global transport network, we continue to promote Kangaroo Island, South Australia and Australia to the world. But we are still proudly a local South Australian company, employing 1,750 South Aussies, 320 for our Kangaroo Island operations, with 120 of those being residents of Kangaroo Island. We have always stayed true to our commitment to the communities we serve. Our KI Community Link program supports local community groups through sponsorship and free travel. We stood shoulder to shoulder with the KI community during the devastating 2019-20 bushfires, and we will continue to provide support through the long recovery.
The extraordinary service in getting firefighters and equipment to the island was unbelievable, and well, I think we probably all break up a bit when we think about that. Just heroic.
SeaLink were very generous to all the fire victims, and it wasn't well advertised, but they gave every fire victim travel voucher money up to the value of nearly $2,000. And that is something that is huge because there were so many fire affected people.
I think they were the major key. We wouldn't have developed and rejuvenated and come back as fast as we did without SeaLink. I mean, to get the Australian Army over here as quick as we did, putting on extra freight to get housing for people over here. So they were a massive, part of rebuilding the island. And I think post of that as well, putting campaigns together to get people back onto the island and support us, which helped businesses get back on their feet.
We sponsor various community events, both large and small, and the many sporting clubs on KI who provide a very important service to the local community. We also sponsor the Adelaide Carols by Candlelight to ensure this important event can keep going for all of South Australian families to enjoy. We have exciting plans to grow more employment on Kangaroo Island by investing in building new accommodation to replace our own property, which was destroyed by the 2020 bushfires. We plan to build 2 new ferries to improve the service for residents, freight carriers and visitors, as well as continuing to promote Kangaroo Island to the world. and finding new ways to attract and connect visitors to Kangaroo Island and South Australia.
This island wouldn't survive without tourism, and SeaLink's an integral part of tourism.
Well, Greg, the whole SeaLink is part of Kangaroo Island, aren't they?
That's right, yeah.
That word goes with Kangaroo Island. SeaLink, Kangaroo Island just works together, and have been for many, many years. And all this sporting, everything they do for KI, we always rely on SeaLink.
If it wasn't for them, I doubt that we would still be here after our 30 years, because they've supported us through good times and bad.
Well, SeaLink to me means a way of life. I've done this job for near on 50 years, and it's the progression from one form of transport to another. So it's my life.
If you had anything to do with any sporting club on Kangaroo Island, you've had help from SeaLink. And I think that part of their involvement in the community is a part that has really meant a lot to the island. Because if you're a small sporting club, whether the pony club or netball club or the racing club, and you've got to send a team over to Adelaide to compete, that's a lot of money if you have to pay for it. But no, SeaLink steps up every time and helps us on the island. And I think SeaLink, making sure they're employing local people on and off the ferry and here in their office in Penishaw and Kingscote, and drivers, yeah, it makes a tremendous difference to the island.
SeaLink's the lifeblood for the island. Without a decent ferry service and one that's incredibly reliable, we'd be completely lost in terms of freight, in terms of self-travel, supporting kids going off the island to play sport, all sorts of things that we just couldn't do without SeaLink.
They are the lifeblood of Kangaroo Island. Reliability, professionalism, and what else can you say? They're just fantastic.
Welcome aboard. We hope you enjoy your stay. From all of us at SeaLink, thank you for being our guest, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.